Welcome to Hashtag Set Live.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Today we have with us on Set Life, Austin Torres. Did I say your name right?
Yep.
All right. So, I've never done this before, but I'm going to start doing this, and I'll have to write it, so forgive me. This is off script. But Set Life is a podcast where Joseph and myself invite on our friends and colleagues from the film industry, and we talk about our life on set, and we talk about a variety of different things. But today we have Austin Torres, who is a writer-director, and he has... put together a couple of short films, and today we're going to talk to him about those adventures. So tell our listeners, Austin, a little bit about yourself to start out with.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm a writer-director. I've done 4 short films so far, starting, shot the first one in 2020, finished that in 2021, and I've been making them ever since. And I primarily work in the horror genre because I love monster movies and spooky flicks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The bloodier the better, right?
Some of your films are available just to watch. Well, where can someone find those?
So my horror movie podcast, because I'm a podcaster as well, it's called Would You Die? There's a channel on YouTube also called Would You Die, where I have like the video podcast episodes, and I put my short films there as well. So you can find 3 of them at this moment. Best Day Ever, Ice Cream, and The Blood Witch. And then my other one will be on YouTube probably early spring of 2025.
Once it's done with the festival circuit,
right?
You're saying, yeah,
right. And that one's called Spider.
Cool.
What is Spider about?
A spider. No.
Good answer.
That is my sci-fi creature feature. So it's about a young woman who is house sitting for her scientist uncle. Okay. And he tells her repeatedly, don't go downstairs. And unbeknownst to her, the problem had made its way upstairs. And it's a spider the size of about the size of a football. So it's inspired by movies like Jurassic Park and Alien and The Evil Dead.
Yes.
But like a big part of my love, a big part of Spider is those 90s creature features like Arachnophobia and Anaconda and Deep Blue Sea. Like, I hesitate to call them campy, but they have they're tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
the very
for sure.
least.
They know what they
Definitely,
are. They know what
Right.
they are.
They're fun B movies, and I grew up on those.
Okay.
And like 8-Legged Freaks.
Okay.
Like I saw that.
100%.
David
yeah,
Arquette.
David Arquette. Yeah.
Yeah, and that movie gave me arachnophobia.
I mean,
And it's like, right, what scares
30-foot
you,
spiders will do that to
Yeah.
somebody.
Right, what scares you? And I'm scared of spiders, so I made, a spider movie.
Interesting. So that's intriguing to me because at an independent level, creature features are obvious for obvious reasons difficult to produce.
Yeah.
What was your approach to putting that together?
I got very lucky. I like to go to horror conventions, and I met this really cool guy. His name's Chris. He has a company called B Movie Horror Props, and he just likes to make props and stuff for fun. Like I know he's made like a life-size Rancor statue for like a children's event.
I would love a life-size Rancor.
Yeah.
For a children's event.
Yeah. Like
Is it
That's
the corner?
involved, bro.
Do you want to go to the Rancor? I'm going to send you to the Rancor.
Exactly right. Well, he's so cool, and I met him at Mask Fest at Horror. No. I didn't meet him at Horror Hound. I met him at Motor City Legacy.
Okay.
It was in Romulus, and I met him, and he had
Tracy's thing.
and he had fucked up teddy bears and Wolfman's Nards and just a bunch of really fun, but they look great. And I like talked to him like, hey, we should be friends. And then we became friends. And when I had the idea for Spider, I was like, I know someone, because Spider's practical.
Okay.
The only CG
Love to hear it.
used is string removal.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Right on, dude.
So you did some
Nice.
puppetry?
Yeah, we built 3 spiders. There's one spider in the movie, but we built 3 for different
course.
reasons.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of them is, we called it the hero spider, and that's like the really nice posable one.
Yeah.
The
So
one I
for our
currently
listeners, a hero prop of any kind is what you're going to see in frame where you can analyze it. If it's on the screen long enough to where you can identify
extreme
what it
close-ups
is.
or prolonged shots.
Right. So like, for example, keep it simple, like a knife.
The most detailed.
If you
of the
have a
props.
knife on set that's going to stab somebody, you're going to have the one that they hold when the other person's off screen that shines and glimmers and has that realistic look to it. But when they start
When you
stabbing,
actually see it.
when they start moving, then you go to a dull one. When it goes to the impact, sometimes you have retractable
Collapsibles,
ones.
yeah.
Sometimes you have one that's been cut off.
Or like a
that it
rubber
can be,
one.
Right. So a hero, when you hear something called a hero this or a hero that, that's what it is. It's the main one. I guess an easier way to do it would be if you were to take 2 actors. You've got your hero actor is your John Cena. Your stunt double would be your replacement.
2, yeah.
So,
Interesting pick with John Cena. I would have said Harrison Ford.
yeah, I mean, we were just talking.
John Cena may be.
We were just talking Peacemaker
big
outside.
stack of meat.
It was
He's
just-
definitely getting old enough to have
He was
somebody
at the
else do his
top of
stunts.
my tongue. So yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So the 3
you're
spiders
good,
you had a. So did the hero spider have any? Well, I'll ask the question after I learn about the others. So tell us about the others.
So then we had the stunt spider, which was built to throw against the wall and beat up. I don't want to spoil the movie, but at the same time, it's a 6-minute movie called Spider. You kind of know where it's going. Our main character, played by Spooky Madison, who is fantastic, and Spooky is in a bunch of horror right now, a bunch of indie horror, and making a name for it herself, and it's fantastic.
That's
And
awesome. Yeah.
I
Shout
love
out
it.
Spooky.
Yes, and we have the stunt spider, so that's the one she worked with the most, and it had like rubber legs and like that one got broke, but it was always designed to be. And then we have the marionette. I think we called it the action spider, but I keep calling it the marionette.
Action, yeah.
And that was like exactly what you're thinking. Like, we had the people like are listening, so they're not seeing my weird hand motions.
No, puppeteers.
Yeah, puppeteer using fishing line, I think.
Yeah,
Probably,
usually
yeah.
fishing line, yeah.
Pretty common to use fishing line.
Yep. And we did some fun stuff with the puppet. But
So the hero spider, it didn't have any actuation to it. It didn't no movement. It was just kind of like
He said you
kinda
could articulate the...
we could articulate it, but it
Was
did
it
not
like,
move.
was it something like, maybe not specifically this material, but like pipe cleaner where it can be moved into a different position for each shot and hold, or was it kind of...
It's like that.
Yeah? Okay.
It can move like that.
That's the impression I got. The legs were bendy.
Yeah.
So you
Right.
could
Yes,
put it
that's
in.
exactly how it is. And actually, no, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I'll let that be a surprise.
What are some of the challenges to shooting with something like that? Having your 3 different props and trying to get that to be believable for your viewers on screen.
I think a big challenge. Well, I got very lucky. Chris is very good at what he does.
Sure.
So they all look the same.
Oh,
And
excellent.
so far, no one's like, oh, I notice a difference.
Sure.
Most people don't know it's 3 different props. And but to answer your question, I think you have to have all the other elements to go right.
Okay.
So if Spooky doesn't, isn't a great actress, then people are like, oh, that's a fake spider.
Right.
People
yeah.
will...
If it's not lit right, if the angle's boring.
exactly. If the
acting's
music's
not there,
wrong.
Yeah.
All of that goes into the props. Because, like, you could have great effects, but no one will believe it if your actor doesn't believe it.
100%.
Or if you, like, use the wrong music. It,
Church.
So it's you found that all of the other elements, other than just that particular prop itself, are more important in playing, bringing it into the collective of the film than the prop itself.
I think if you make it about the prop itself, you're kind of losing focus of the story.
Wonderful. That's interesting.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. It makes sense.
Did you guys do any camera tests or anything with the props before going in, or did you learn on set how to film the spider?
We went right into it.
Yeah.
Well, I did a little Indiegogo for this one because I knew this one was going to be a bit more ambitious than everything else I've done so far. But at the same time, it's like we only had so much money. We only had it one day.
Okay.
We shot it in one day, so yeah, we jumped right into it.
And it's 6 minutes. That sounds reasonable to me. As an AD, I'd be like, okay, depending on, because it's like, there's obviously a lot of elements at play. So depending on how long something took, having not seen it, I can't ask you any specific questions based on shots, but running it in my head, hearing the script, I would think that 1-2 days tops is probably what you're looking at.
How many pages was the script? About 6 pages?
About 6, yeah.
There you go.
6 or 7.
Yeah, because we could definitely shoot 6 in a day ordinarily, but like it comes down to, again, not knowing the script. What is the action like? What is the activity like that changes?
Yeah, is there camera movement while there's puppeteer movement? How difficult of a shot is this?
Tell me about Indiegogo. How was that experience for you?
It was good. It was great, but it's stressful.
I imagine.
And,
what was your setup? So with Indiegogo, you have a landing page, right? And then a goal?
Yes. Our goal was 5,000.
Okay. And is Indiegogo where if you don't raise it, you don't get any of it? Or do you get whatever you raise?
I think...
Like if you don't... Did you reach your goal?
We reached our goal, so I didn't have to think. I think it's... You get what you raise.
Okay, because I know there's a couple of them out there. Kickstarter doesn't...
Because I remember I took that into consideration. And I remember being like, well, what if, only my grandma
I was just listening to... there's a podcast out there that I do recommend everyone listen to. It's What Went Wrong. And I just landed on it. One of their newer episodes was about the Evil Dead. And it was fascinating. But one of the things that I had learned is they essentially funded that very similar to Indiegogo. It was 79, so we didn't have the internet. But they tapped into the local market, and they were college kids,
as it were.
They were college kids, and while they were on college campus, they made movies. They created a club, so like they had established themselves as filmmakers. But they had I don't remember the details, so I don't want to fuck it up, but something about
similar to a community charity drive.
Well, I think they had some investors who had said, if you can raise this much, then we will give this much type of thing. And they raised almost the goal, and they had to go to their investors and be like, listen, we got almost there. Could we still get what you were offering? And my point being, like, if you only raised $47.50 and you're $250 shy, like, well, I'll figure out $47.50. I'll still use that $47.50 and figure out, find a way to lose the $250 or find a way to make it up, but to still complete my goal. How long was your campaign?
Only a month.
Is that a limit that they have? Or did you set that yourself?
Yeah, I think you set it.
I believe that's like the default limit, but you can set it.
Could you go longer than a month if you wanted to?
Yeah.
What did you have on the page for random people who didn't know you, who might have landed, to entice them to provide money?
I had like a little video that's like, it had our main actress, it had the creature effects and our composer. So some of the more flashier roles, right?
Interview style?
More like, because this was the first one I ever done. It was more like, hi, I'm Austin.
Right.
This is,
right.
I want to make a monster movie, like that.
Face to face as opposed to a reel.
I just love the voice you threw on.
But yeah, that's exactly, yeah. And then I wrote, the actual Indiegogo page, I think I did an okay job. I really hammered it in social media. Like I was making posts every day.
Sharing the Indiegogo link. Within your own followership, or did you reach out into like more public spaces like Reddit?
It was more my own, me and my producers follow. Like,
okay, so your inner, your personal circle of influence.
Were you just making the posts, or were you boosting them? Was there any?
I was just making them.
That? Just pushing it.
Just sharing what I hoping organically, yeah. Because I didn't. I mean, we're asking people for money. I don't have the money to boost it.
Course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's fair for people.
That's the catch. It's the catch 20. Yeah, it's the catch 22.
Right. Yeah, that's why I asked the question, because it's so weird.
Would you say it was a positive experience for you? Obviously, you got your goal.
It is.
But that being said, was it worth the time and effort, or did it end up? Would you do it again?
Not for a while.
Okay.
And it's not because I had a bad experience with it. There is a lot of pressure because you don't want to fuck up the rewards. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't like. Someone, you know, there's a whole different range of like how much people would give, but even if they give like $25, you want, it's hard right now. You don't want you know, that's the most someone could give, and you don't want to disappoint them. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of pressure in that. And then like I noticed that it did not really leave our inner circle. There may be one or two, maybe three people I didn't know.
Okay.
Who contributed.
So in your mind, cool, it worked, but you don't want the same people being your donors the next time.
Right.
You're trying to
because it's friends and family.
Right.
And I don't want to be like, hey, I'm making another movie this year, and give me another $250. Like that's wrong, you know?
Yeah.
So I will do it again, but I'm going to wait.
Is there something that you think you would do on your next campaign that would make it more available to other people?
Any ideas or tactics to broaden that crowd?
I wouldn't know. Right now, I'm just hoping
that's fair,
keep creating stuff.
Right.
Develop my name as a brand. Because, like, you know, you hear success story, like Terrifier 2 beat the shit out of its goal.
Yeah. Was that Indiegogo? Because I know only Terrifier 3 was the only studio one.
Yeah, I think it was a crowdfunded. I don't know if it was Kickstarter or Indiegogo.
The first Terrifier, according to IMDb, was only like a $30,000. And why does that work? Well, there's no information on it that I've been able to find yet. So my own
one of those things, man. You got the people, the writer, and it just
the writer director. I forget his name, Dion something. Is a professional makeup artist. So the fact that the practical effects in that were so amazing made sense to me. I was like, even though he's writer-director, he probably got his hands dirty or brought on people that he works with. Like there's obviously some donations and stuff there. But I learned that he shot it in New York and LA. The pizza scene is done in LA. Everything else is done in New York. And it's a pretty isolated, you know, it's got the one location more or less outside of the pizza shop. So like those things tracked with me, you know, being that I work on a lot of $30,000 to $50,000, but the $30,000 to $50,000 that I work on don't come out as clean as Terrifier, you know. So he just used it. There had to be an answer to
proper allocation of the funds,
right. And this is Spider. Spider was the first one that you've done Indiegogo. Is this your largest budget?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the biggest production.
So how have you maintained lower budgets previous to that? More or less, and this isn't a put you in a corner type thing, but you know, our listeners ranging from people who are curious about getting in or in the position that you're at that they just want to take that step to make something. What was some of the advice that you would give to somebody to like going back to the first short that you made? What elevated you? What motivated you to do that?
So if we're going to go all the way back to the first one, that one was all networking. And I got very lucky.
Networking is very important in this business.
Yep.
And it's my directorial debut. It's my writing debut, too. And I co-wrote it with my friend Molly Gibson. And we co-produced it together. And Molly was far more established than I had been. So she had connections, I didn't.
Right on.
So my very first one, I got very lucky where she had a bunch of friends and favors. Like, hey, will you come and do this? This is my friend Austin. I believe in him. Let's make something fun.
Oh, that's refreshing.
And those people on that set are great people. And I was very fortunate to have met very good, like Fred, who has been on this show.
Shout out Fred Evans.
Mm-hmm. He's my homie. I love him. He was on that set.
Okay.
So that's how I met him.
For sure, yeah.
And I'm going to shout out Sean Snyder, who is DP on Best Day Ever.
Oh, okay. So he DP'd it.
Oh,
Excellent.
yeah. Sean.
He DP'd Spider, too.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, that was a great experience for me. And I got very lucky. Mm-hmm. So the second one I did, Ice Cream, I no longer had Molly. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what I was doing. But Molly had a producer friend, Katrina, and
I think that's who contacted me.
Yeah.
Is she from out of town?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, she's from Michigan, but she's in LA right now.
Correct.
She did all of the work, producing-wise. And it was very nice for me.
Yeah.
All I had to do
People
was
don't realize the responsibilities.
Phone calls and paperwork, man. I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm an artist. You do it.
So I'm not quite sure what the budget was on Ice Cream, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Okay.
I don't think it was $5,000. I think it was under Spider.
Okay.
And I put my own money into it too,
Sure.
But that one we rented an ice cream truck.
Mm-hmm. Which are a pain in the ass to work with.
Yeah.
I don't know how it worked out for you, but I've worked with ice cream
I
trucks
was dealing with the audio.
Because you had to have them all day, right?
We
truck?
needed it all day.
Yeah,
right.
I've had a hard time keeping them around for 2 hours for one scene.
Well, that's all Katrina. To be
that's because you're doing favors. They rented this thing.
Yeah, we did rent.
We rent. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't the one who did it. I said
for the day, Brad. For the day.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. It was still a problem.
Yeah,
their problem.
But we had to get an older, when you watch Ice Cream, it's a older kind of creepier one.
Mm-hmm. They're all creepy. Perfect. I think they're all pretty rapey.
Yeah,
I've not seen an ice cream truck in recent decades that look like it.
Yeah, they all look like they're driven by.
So this is actually because most of the ones I see have a lot of
British idioms. They all look like they're driven by nuns.
Yeah,
that means pedo.
Yeah. The amount of trademarked IPs that end up on ice cream trucks. Mm-hmm. Did you have to work around that? Was yours slathered in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle and Mickey Mouse?
No, it was older than that.
Yeah, they had to get a period appropriate.
Interesting.
Right, and Katrina found it. Because I was like, I'm going to write this fun little, And
oh, man.
If I didn't have Katrina, that movie's not happening.
Doesn't it always start that
You start making concessions.
Fun idea.
Dude, writing is free.
Writing
is free, man. If you want to write books, you don't need a budget. But you want to write a script, you start to.
What was that
comes
one
to reality.
that Quinn brought from ChatGPT where it was this endless cycle of we're waiting on talent or we're waiting on,
it needed a studio.
But then once me and Chris got a hold of it, we needed this large soundstage and this ability to transform from place to place, which is really just a wild cut, but it got out of hand real fast.
Yeah.
So how much we moved into Ice Cream, which was your third? That was the second.
So it's Best Day Ever, Ice Cream, Spider, and then my latest one's The Blood Witch.
Okay. I had Blood Witch and Spider out of order. So Spider's available then to watch already.
No,
it's in the circuit.
But
it's
Blood
in the
Witch
circuit,
is.
But Blood Witch, I
did direct.
That's why. That's why I flipped them.
It's confusing.
That's why I flipped them.
No, it's not confusing. I caught up. I was there with you.
Yeah, Bradford. No, I'm kidding.
No, it makes sense that he would assume that the newest one isn't available, but it's No, he mentioned it earlier on the other episode.
Gotcha.
But Blood Witch is a completely different thing too. Mm-hmm. I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So
moving on.
Please do. Yes.
Blood Witch came about because I was finishing Spider.
Okay.
We shot Spider in August of 2023. Okay. And this is April of 2024. And we're finishing Spider, and I'm realizing, I'm starting to submit it to festivals. It's the first couple ones will be like August, September, October. And I'm like, oh, this can go well into March of 2025. God willing, like it's a good festival run.
Of course.
And so far, I've been fortunate it has.
That's awesome, man.
Thank you. But, you know, I want to put on YouTube so like people can see it. But I don't want to I don't want to put on YouTube until it's done with the festival run. I'm like,
right. Well, you could lose festivals if it's available in other places.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be careful about the rules. So you're doing the right thing.
Exactly.
Well, and you never know. Maybe someone options it.
Right. Someone sees it and like, hey, you want more money? Make a bigger spider. Like that's
exactly
how I imagine studio executives.
That is how they talk. Dance, spider, dance.
Yeah.
Look, see. Right. I got to offer you can't refuse.
So listen, me and the boys were talking. We want to see more fucking spiders. You want to make some fucking spiders?
Yeah. I do like the James Cameron. I write spider and I put a line through the S. And that's what makes it a dollar sign.
I love it.
But so Blood Witch actually came from an existential crisis I was having.
Okay.
Because I'm like, Spider's not coming out till 2025 on YouTube for the general public.
And
to
you
see.
don't want that long to go without there being content that someone can watch.
Right. Especially because like I did the
where do I get my views?
And I did the Indiegogo of like June, July of 2023. A lot of people donating might not see it till 2025.
Yeah, they're not going to donate more to...
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
were you getting badgered?
No one was... A lot of people who did it are like friends and family are if they weren't, they get it. And I ended up just sending them like an email screener anyways.
Yeah,
like,
that's good of you. That's good of you.
Yeah,
I didn't want...
That's commendable. Yeah.
I wanted them to be the first people to see
Absolutely.
Of course. Yeah.
So...
don't share it.
Yeah. I was like, pretty please. But But a lot of people, like, who are friends, but maybe they didn't have the money, they shared, but, you know, whatever the reason, or maybe, like, they liked one post. They're not going to see Spider till potentially, maybe later of 2025.
Right now, you just don't know.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
fingers crossed it has a long...
You know, if best case scenario gets optioned, you won't see it. It'll be an extra on the DVD once the feature comes out.
Right. And the other half of my little existential crisis I was having was, and I know this is dumb because I'm very young, but I turned 30 this October.
That's
and
not very young.
But it's too young to have that kind of like, what am I doing with my life?
Right.
And like, I had this thing where like, I'm going to turn 30 and I only have 3 short films. Steven Spielberg made Jaws by this age.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's dumb.
Comparatively.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I don't live that way.
compare yourself to Spielberg
I
ever.
don't compare myself to anybody.
Yeah, but definitely not that motherfucker. I love him. He's my favorite.
Well, he lived in a time where you could literally walk onto a fucking studio lot and say, hey, I work here. Where's my office? And they fucking got away with it.
That's a legend.
can't-
It never
That's what it
actually
is.
happened.
But, you know, anyways, that's where my mind was at the time. So I'm like, I gotta come
So
up
he
with
did
something
actually
quick.
work on a lot of TV stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where he got, he still has a very
He
unique,
walked onto a lot he wasn't allowed, and he did actually work there. That's what.
he had a path that's not available to everybody today.
Right.
Oh
And-
yeah, it was like 60s. Yeah.
And the path is always going to be different.
It's
The
for
path is
everybody.
always going to change.
That's my
Our
point.
path will be different for the next generation.
Correct.
So,
And I fear for them because it's tough.
My almost 7-year-old daughter has more potential to be famous just because when I do get her a phone, she's going to start some social media and she could just Billie Eilish the fuck out. You never know.
Right.
She loves dancing. She loves singing. She's a ham in front of the camera.
That's
just like her dad.
not only that, but her generation being the newest generation, but even my daughter
Generation Alpha, yeah.
my generation even being of my daughter my daughter's generation being of the generation that is already in the TikTok, Instagram, the studies that are being done is that like they all watch YouTube.
Yeah.
They, you know,
Your
it's
daughter's Gen Z.
where they're
Gen
getting their
A,
content, how much of the content they consume, and how they consume it has changed so much. That we're in a precipice of the industry where we're always going to have movies because there's always going to be people who want it. But as far as like, will this quote unquote make me rich or this, whatever, it's different than it was, you know, and everything was in the 30s. You were owned by a studio. You worked for Warner. Warner gave you a schedule. Frank Sinatra knew he had to be on Lot C at this time to film this movie on Monday and Tuesday, and on Wednesday and Thursday he may be on another lot doing another thing because everything was done on stage, everything was done on set.
Stage to do his album.
Then you had the
touring schedule,
the end of the golden age of Hollywood, and the beginning of what they call New Hollywood, and that's the end of the 60s and the 70s, where you have the Spielbergs, the Lucases, all of the guys who were coming out of the
film school.
The film schools, which were new, that wasn't a thing before.
Because James Whale and John Ford did not have film schools.
They did not. They did not. Well, and things were looked at differently. An editor was not looked at as an artist. An editor, first off, in the beginning of film history, editors were mostly women because the machines that you edited on were very similar in operation to a sewing machine. So they thought only women could do it. So a lot of early films were edited by women, and that's nothing against them. Good for the opportunity, but the industry didn't look at them as artists. They were just cut.
Right.
Yeah. It was a logistic job
because the director would stand over her like a dictating businessman,
and the cost
secretary.
of film and the effort to put stuff on. You only had so much. You didn't have a lot of extras. Everything was edits weren't as complicated until you had like Frankenheimer coming out and experimenting with the different, the French New Wave the French New Wave film and was it mise en scène started to come in and
film revolution
experiment, and then you started getting like the I forget the guy's name, but there's a very good study out there where a shot is taken of a man with a blank expression, and it's edited in between different other.
That was Eisenstein, right?
Is that Eisen? I meant Eisenstein when I said Frankenheimer. You're correct, but I don't know if this experiment was done by Eisenstein. You could be right.
It's been a while since I had my film studies
you
class.
meant Eisenstein, and now you're talking about Frankenheimer.
Maybe I'll look it up. But,
exactly.
But the experiment is
Google. Get us in the comments.
I want to say it's Khrushchev.
All right.
Actually,
I think you're right.
Khrushchev.
Yeah,
I think Eisenstein.
But the experiment is taking the very same shot of a man. Just you get his eyes and his face, it's like a medium close up, and then it edits to something different, and then it edits back to the man, then it's something different, and edits back to the man. And when they showed it to people, they thought the man was making different expressions and reactions, and it was the same fucking. So that
I love that there's been iterations of this like used in other films. So, like even in Idiocracy, because Mike Judge. So the film of the year was Fart, right? Mm-hmm. Like that kind of thing, right? Like did the ass change or did the fart change? Like nothing really happened. It was all, anyways. It's one of these passive things that like has been paid homage to through other art, and that's what I'm saying.
But the point being that things changed then again in the 70s, and so opportunities have changed. 90s. I grew up in an era where the explosion of Sundance and the independent film market is really what said to me that this little boy from Michigan might have an opportunity to do the things that I love.
Yes.
Whereas
because we were getting Kevin Smith and Robert Rodriguez,
Yes, exactly.
Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell and
Robert Rodriguez is hands down my most influential. I can't say that I stand behind all of his work still today, but he motivated me in doing the way that he did it to do it today.
Rebel Without a Crew, like
a great book.
If you're a filmmaker and you haven't read that book, you should give it a read.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, I'm going to make 9 films tomorrow. So, but I'm going to bring this back to The Blood Witch. That's how I was feeling.
Circle them ponies, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Circle it. Let's get to it.
That's how I was like,
can't wait to watch
Spider's
this.
not coming out for a while, and I'm going to turn 30.
Kuleshov.
April of it was
Kuleshov is the name.
Very nice. Very nice. So this is April of 2024 this year. And I'm like, I turned 30.
Kalushov. It's not Kuleshov. Kalushov.
Thank you. I turned 30 in October of this year. So my mindset was
Libra up high.
Yep.
All around the table.
Are we all Libras?
Baby.
Hell yeah.
October 6th.
October 17.
October 2nd.
Nice,
Hell yeah.
bro.
So
2nd, 6th, 17th. Dude.
Yeah.
82. 81.
94.
Nice.
And my friend John, shout out John Owens, his birthday's October 6th.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, Libras are cool people. Surround yourself with Libras.
Yes, we are the best. You didn't hear it from me though. So that was my mindset, right? I'm having, I need to make another film right now. That's where my head was at. And I just came up
there.
I just was writing something and I had like, what's something that scares me, but it's not a spider. It's not Spider 2, right? Because I don't even know if Spider worked yet.
Right.
I liked it, but
Well, and it cost you $5,000.
right. And I didn't want to ask friends and family to,
Correct. And you're just back in the same cycle that you're trying to remedy at the moment.
Yes. So I was like, what
The
can
ever-present question of a broke filmmaker: what can I do right now with no money? What are my resources?
Yes.
Who can I call?
And that was me, and I can get done in a few months.
Hell yeah,
So,
man.
I just wrote the first idea that came to mind, and it was The Blood Witch, and it was inspired by movies like Insidious and
The Witch?
no, actually,
No? Okay.
Candyman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, okay.
So The Blood Witch, that story, and this one's on YouTube right now. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but it's basically a campfire story.
Oh, okay.
2 actors. One of them's telling the urban legend, which is something I made the fuck up.
Of course, that's what urban legends are.
Okay, so
And,
a little familiar with
Yeah.
The Perfect Host that we watched earlier today before the
Right,
other episode.
yeah.
Where it's mainly the 2 characters and then it branches off and
and
Okay.
but of course, when I make something, it has to be a little zany. It has to be a little out there. So The Blood Witch is very inspired by like the Insidious demon and Darth Maul and Carnage from Spider-Man, but also like very witchy. Like I think we did a good job making a unique character design, but it's very Insidious.
I heard of your movie though. I know I haven't seen it because we're very plugged in with our local network. What were some of the people who were involved, like actor wise or crew wise?
So the actors.
Shout out to people.
Yeah, Adam and Kaylee Michaels. They Adam Michaels is like an insanely talented artist, so he does a lot of horror conventions. They're based off out of Indianapolis.
Oh, nice.
And they're my friends from horror conventions. So I asked them, "Hey, you guys want to be in a movie?" And they're like, "Hell yeah!" And Kaylee, she does a dual role for us as both one half of the fictional couple. They're married in real life, but like he's telling her a story on a first date. That's like the story of the movie. And she also plays the Blood Witch, which I guess is a spoiler. Sorry.
That's
but
your movie.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna watch it.
It's a 10-minute movie on YouTube, but I got them involved. Eric Steele, who's does a lot of stuff here in Michigan.
Okay.
He helped with the gore effects.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to say exactly what.
Of course.
I'm just going to say
no.
Now
Just
I
shout
won't
the
say
people.
anything.
No, just shout the people. Yeah.
But he did our gore effects, and
People
he did a
in
great
positions
job.
enough, yeah.
He did a great job. Ashley Richardson, our amazing makeup artist. She
You've got a lot of names here that I don't. Oh, and Andy Weir.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It was a young crew too.
Hell yeah, man.
I like that because that gives people an opportunity. Like that's the great thing about shorts and passion project films like this. It's because you want to get people together that want to be there regardless of anything else. They just like, cool, wait, I can go do this, and boom, you're there. That's the best environment for filmmaking, is people that want to be there.
It is, right? I mean, and there's a lot of calls I get where I'm like, look, I'm gonna refer you to this person because I know I'm just not the I love working. I'm hungry for work all the time. I love making my art, but sometimes I know the project's not for me. You know what I mean?
And this was a much lower budget than Spider.
Sure.
Spider had 5,000, this had 1,200. So significantly smaller. So we couldn't pay people as much or any, depending on who. You know, but
these are, so for anyone who's like trying to get onto a set, these are the opportunities that you want to look for. You know, being someone like myself who I work full time in film because that's where my focus is. You always have time still to do things like passion projects. I'm still not opposed to doing work for somebody because they just want to get something done in a weekend. Right. If I'm not doing anything and I have an opportunity to be on set to do what I love, I'm going to be there.
And that's what
a good 20% of my downtime, meaning unpaid work, like I'm still on a set somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And doing something for free, whether it be acting or
I want to connect
showing
this to
up with something that I have and they need, and we have a relationship. And I don't care if you can't afford it; I'm available. I'll be there in 20. You know,
but there's still value for you there, and I'm going to connect it a couple ways. One,
you get the credit.
Anytime you have you get the credit. Anytime you have the opportunity to exercise your expertise or something that you want to be your expertise, that is valuable to you right there because that's growth.
Right,
but additionally, you had mentioned that, you know, the success of your first short was through networking.
Yes.
And being on set, especially if it's on set with new people, as scary as it can be, I'm an introvert. I don't like new people because I do fine, but I always go in with that little bit of anxiety of maybe I won't.
Right.
And so first day on set, especially even today, if I'm going in and I know 2 or 3 people, that's my comfort zone. But you still don't know 97% of the people that are there.
Yeah.
By the end of day 1, I usually say by the end of day 3, if you've not made friends, you're doing something wrong.
And I've been very, very lucky to where like all of my shorts, Blood Witch was the first time I had multiple days.
How many days?
2.
Okay. That's multiple.
But that's multiple. It's the first time.
But I mean, it's
all the other ones have been 1-day shoots. Yeah.
So I mean, you need time. You need time to do that.
Right. And well, you know, I could have done it in a day because Best Day Ever is also 9 minutes.
What do you
think? I
think?
did that one in a day.
What do you think that? And this is going to be my AD brain's always coming in because I want the best.
There's a big reason why we did 2.
Do you think it would have been the same type of movie had you crammed it into one day?
It would have fucking sucked.
Exactly.
There's a reason why we did.
So could and should.
Exactly. And a big reason is because Kaylee was doing a dual role. One with heavy makeup and special effects.
Got to give time for that.
Practical
then you start losing out. Like, oh, well, let's just rush through that. Like, well, okay. Then it's going to look rush on screen.
Right.
It's going to come across to the audience that way.
So when you watch The Blood Witch, there are 2 distinctly different aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because and that's a stylistic choice too.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, and a big reason for that is because like I knew the stuff with The Blood Witch we couldn't get the same day. I needed Kaylee to not be in that makeup.
Okay.
There's no way we were going to get all that makeup on and off and then shoot the longer part.
Mm-hmm.
So we did all the one day for the horror shit and then the rest for the story part.
Right. That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now you're getting shit messy.
Yes.
You know? One of the things I find often in movies that I work on where there's it's not because I haven't worked on a lot of horror, but blood violence and that shows up a lot. But people don't prep. Like they let people know, hey, can we film in your place? And then you show up and you start putting fucking blood everywhere. And you don't think about the fact that one, if you fuck up the first run, you got to take the time to clean it and reset.
Yeah.
Two, there's always the cleaning. So even when you leave, like, don't stain. Like there's just there's a lot of things that
pre-planning and plastic.
So if you don't give yourself the time, that's where you're going to make those mistakes, and you're going to have a take where the third take was the best because now you've worked out the kinks, but there's fucking shit all over the place, or stains on the wardrobe, or these things that you. Now that you've perfected what you wanted, you fucked up because you did something poorly by rushing,
Right.
or not properly planning.
Right. And by the time I made the Blood Witch, I had to learn from Spider and Ice Cream.
Right.
So, Best Day Ever doesn't have any blood in it, which is why I didn't mention it. But, by the time I knew if I was going to fucking call something the Blood Witch, it's got to have a little bit of blood. Yeah.
That's a good move. That's a good move.
So,
well done.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So, we decided to make it a 2-day shoot. Just for the effects and the makeup, and I think the movie benefited because of it.
Okay.
You said Sean Snyder shot that one?
No, this
was
this was my friend Jason Segrets, who I also met through horror conventions.
Nice.
Networking.
Yeah, networking.
Man. Yeah, we can't stress networking enough, and networking takes a little bit of getting out of your comfort zone, and like you're the first person that's mentioned something like conventions. Yeah. There are so many different ways to meet people, and the best way to do it is to find people of like minds. You're not gonna. I'm not saying there's absolutes. I hate absolutes. I'm sorry. I'm using absolutes. To say that you're not going to
likely.
You're less. Thank you, Joe. You're less likely to run into your next opportunity at Starbucks than you are at a horror convention if you're trying to get into horror type things. You're less likely to run into somebody who's going to be able to get you onto a set.
Go back to more. We need to start doing that because I remember the last time we went to, like, we went and got like 2 or 3 autographs, and one of the dudes was like, "Meet me at the bar later. I'm staying here."
Yeah.
Like, man, if I didn't have to be on set tomorrow, I would totally be hanging out with
him. Yeah, because you never know where your next opportunity.
Guy,
you never know where your next opportunity is going to come from.
I met so many podcast guests for Would You Die at horror conventions.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's another approach that now that we're almost a year in, treating it as a separate business, we would need to network ourselves like that for guests.
Right.
Not that we haven't. We've been mining our local network all year long, and people are what they are as far as availability. So it is what it is. But if you take that opportunity to stretch and reach out, that you might find other opportunities.
Our biggest conflict has been our own personal availability to each other in our studio.
Yeah. We've seen so little.
And then on top of scheduling, when can we get together?
Yep. I'm not going to lie. This year, we've seen the least amount of each other than we've seen of each other in the last 5 years. It's been wild.
Bro.
It's been wild. It's weird.
Yeah. Careers are going well.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
Well, it's the first time like we've really had full-on different trajectories while still being established in a business.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've kind of run through your shorts, but that was kind of putting the cart before the horse. Tell us about your interest in film alone. Let's start there. Let's start with when or why or how did you know that you wanted to be in film?
Well, when we did the Perfect Host episode, we did the man playing God theme. I brought up my favorite movie of all time, Jurassic Park.
At 3 years old, his grandma was just like, if you could use the VCR, well, I don't know what accent does your grandma have. I don't know. I just figured
Mexican
she'd
grandma
call you
accent.
Mijo.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
exactly. You got it.
If you can use the VCR, Mijo, just go ahead. Okay, it's scary. Okay,
but it really stems from that. That was the defining moment of my. I don't ever say
so early.
Jurassic
so
Park.
Crazy.
I can't say Jurassic Park changed my life because I don't remember.
It put you on a direction before you had a chance to explore any other direction.
You don't remember before Jurassic Park.
There was no life for Austin before Jurassic Park.
There really was. That's been a part of my person because there were a lot of kids who are into dinosaurs, but I was the one who like fucking raptor arms and when I was 7 years old in second grade. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And
in the middle of the store while your mom's just trying to grocery shop. Austin, goddammit.
Have you met me before? Because I feel like you've seen me in action.
In Step Brothers, there came a day where I had to put the dinosaur aside. Don't you ever put that dinosaur aside, Austin. You hear me? You.
And it influenced other things in my life as well. Like I am a musician. I play guitar and I play trumpet. The reason why I play trumpet is because I wanted to play like dun dun dun.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Exactly. That's the only reason I wanted to play trumpet. And then I did a lot of trumpet play. I'm not I shouldn't say I wasn't a good trumpet player but I was always. I'm going to say, I was always the worst trumpet player in very fucking good ensembles. I was good enough to be in, the Spartan
ensemble.
Marching Band.
Right.
You
just weren't first chair. That's fine. Not everybody can be first
chair. Far from it. I was always, last or second to last.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
But I was in the band.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was really lucky to...
Every bass player in the world knows exactly what you're feeling.
Why don't you make like a bass player and be inaudible?
So, I only did that because...
So even your music interest was linked to movies.
Yeah, my mom always said, I'm the reason she knows who John Williams is. Because, she... I grew up on Jurassic Park and Jaws and E.T. and Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And when I was able to read, I would always read.
Did you watch any movies that Steven Spielberg didn't make? Or was it just exclusively Steven Spielberg stuff?
I've only seen 20 movies.
This is very interesting because Brad has exclusively avoided Steven Spielberg.
No, that's not true. Not avoided.
He's a hater.
I'm a lover.
When it comes to Spielberg.
It's all right. We can still get along.
Oh, no.
We can still be friends.
I love all filmmakers. The Spielberg was a huge part of my upbringing. But it was... My father's a film connoisseur to an extent. He took me to the Fox Theater to see Casablanca and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So he, Papa Quick loved him some theater and some movies, but I don't know.
No, my mom raised me on Spielberg and Disney, and then the classic Universal monsters.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice. Yeah, Universal's another one that I didn't get to. And it's a shame because they're so kid-friendly in consideration. Being born in 80, they were 50 years old, at the time. So,
and then, you get the Munsters.
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, Brad.
Yeah, I had the Addams Family. I had the Addams Family. That was that.
And Scooby-Doo,
I love Scooby-Doo. And the Scooby-Doo kids. And I just recently learned that Tales from the Crypt Keeper, the cartoon version of Tales from the Crypt. I did watch that.
True.
Yeah, it's on Tubi. Check it out.
Hell
It's the only thing you can watch streaming for Tales from the Crypt. And it's cheeky because it's for kids, but it's 90s. But
think slightly raunchier Goosebumps cartoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean even raunchy. I wouldn't. Raunchy might be overselling it, but
it's just
it's definitely
cringier.
Cringy is apt. So, when did you start making a commitment to maybe doing something about your love of film?
Much later. I was not 3.
Not like Jason Bateman.
Right. So I guess I kind of realized I always liked movies, but people like movies. It's
right. And it's like looking at your favorite baseball player, and it's like, well, those aren't even real people. Somehow they're just there doing what they love. I've got to go to the office.
And in high school, I made monster movies with my friends.
Okay.
And I was the guy with the video camera, and other kids in my high school would pay me in Wendy's to film their video projects for them.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice, dude. Yeah,
what do you mean their video project? Like their homework assignments?
Yeah. I mean, they were a part of it too.
Sure.
But they're like, oh, I want to get an A on this. I'm going to bring in Austin Torres.
Yeah.
100%. I get you, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're the guy that like, hey, how do we get like, just come do this with us?
Yeah, that's how it was. Like, and they would act in it, and they would, but they would be like, hey, but you have a camera and you're good at camera stuff relative to a high schooler.
Right.
And then I did my own monster movies and stuff, but I didn't think that was anything.
You were just doing it for fun.
Right. Exact. Because I loved movies and...
Fucking made for it, bro.
And then my path took me to Michigan State. Go Green. And I didn't know...
Spart.
Party like Sparty. That's my motto. But like, I didn't know what I wanted to do,
Sure. Well, it's because we all think we just want to direct. That's like the path to movie is there's two jobs.
I didn't even want to...
director.
I didn't even want to direct. I didn't know if I wanted to make movies. I didn't know what I wanted to do, like, at all. So...
Are you from Lansing?
No, I'm from Wyandotte. I'm a downriver boy.
Okay, nice.
And,
How
did...
did you like Lansing while you were out there?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
One of my favorite equipment rental companies that I work with in Michigan is definitely, it's out in Holt.
Yeah.
Advanced Multimedia. Yeah. Shout out Dave St. George, Trevor Stevens,
Hell
Big Fred Gomez, Blake Brown.
But
so college.
Yeah, my path took me there. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was like a 17-year-old, right? And, I didn't think film was a real option, but I didn't even know I wanted to. So I decided I'm going to go into music because that will do well for me.
That was my deterrent. I was like, I wanted to make movies, so let me go do music.
Well, I learned very quickly I do not have what it takes to be a professional musician in any capacity. And I still love music, but I'm lucky I learned quickly.
Did you play an instrument in class or groups or anything in college? Was that part of when you arrived at college, like, oh, I'm going to join the band and so forth?
Well, I was in the marching band, but that's not like the College of Music or anything like that. And I didn't get in. So, and that's fine. I got in the band.
They just didn't have enough chairs for you.
Right, exactly.
Ran out of chairs.
Exactly. They're like, well, you got to be beyond.
Look, we got 4 number 1s here vying for
exactly,
number 1.
Yeah.
Sorry, number 3, I can't.
Exactly.
No shame in being number 3. No,
but I
can't even play a trumpet.
And it's not any hard feelings or anything like that because I think it worked out the better because as I was in the marching band and kind of noticed like the politics of like music life, I'm like, ooh, I would have hated this.
Yeah.
So
I mean, film is not absent of politics.
Right. But I can navigate those a little easier than I could.
We're just built for it differently.
Exactly.
It's different.
Exactly. So, I loved my time at Michigan State and but I was an undecided major because I didn't get into the College of Music and I was like, well, fuck, I can't do
here
math.
now. What do I do?
Yeah, I'm at Michigan State. Like, I don't want to waste all that money. I gotta, and I
now
do
something
you're
with
paying
it. People in Wendy's for math now.
Exactly. Exactly. So, but I took an intro to film class the spring semester of my freshman year. Just because, I like movies. This would be easy. Whatever. And it wasn't easy, but I fell in love.
Yeah, it's not easy. That's for sure.
And I realized this is my love.
Yeah.
Music was just a fling. This is my love. And I never, put it together until I was, 18.
Gotcha.
And even then, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do anything like that. So I just kind of, met people at Michigan State. I got my degree in film studies, which is more like a film theory, like I could talk about movies good type degree.
So what type of things were, because it's offered as a major?
Film studies.
It's film studies.
Yes.
So it's an actual...
You talk movies good.
It's an actual concentration.
Yes.
So they offered multiple courses for it.
Yes.
What types of things, did you never had hands on any equipment?
Well, that was a completely different college from what I was in. So, I was in the College of Arts and Letters at Michigan State.
Arts and Letters? The fuck does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know.
Something about writing.
So no, that would be in English.
But there's
It's the drawing of the letter.
they also had a college of communication, a college of communications and something like that.
When I went to Eastern, it was in communications, and I did broadcast studies.
And they had a media production.
Basically, the classes that I had was I sat in one classroom and they showed me old movies, and then we talked about them and took tests on it. And then in another classroom, I sat and we watched Friends and some TV shows and we talked about it. But those are the only two classes before I left the school. But was it just more along the lines of that?
Well, their college of communication, that was where the production was. And I had found myself in the College of Arts and Letters. Because like I said, I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
So I found myself in the theory part of it and I didn't realize till like my junior or senior year, there's a whole ass college like doing the stuff I wanted to do.
So they were doing same but different.
They were doing more production.
Same.
Yeah. So, and I was doing more theory. Like, yeah. But like
you wanted hands-on practical,
right.
and you're dealing
and I was
with
getting,
theory and
yes.
philosophy.
Yes.
Okay.
And thank you for helping me word good.
No. You talk movie good.
Thank.
Well, play, microphone.
But I ended up getting a little bit into the production side. I took I had a minor in documentary.
Oh, interesting.
Because I couldn't get into the narrative. So
hey, you take what you can get because there's so much you can learn. I would love to do a documentary. First off, it's just on the
great.
back of my mind.
I love documentaries.
I went to Specs Howard, which was a news broadcast school, and I had no interest in being on news TV. I honestly went there because I lost a job. Our work was sent to Mexico. The whole factory went to Mexico. So I got like relocation type funding from the government. And at that time I was like, fuck it, now's my time to do something. But there was nothing here. We had the incentives here in Michigan. So I was like, let me fast track this and try and get on set. MPI wasn't really a thing. And if it was, my grant didn't qualify for there. So I was like, next best thing, let me just, because I've been reading books for 20 years. I've been, watching behind the scenes. I'm doing anything I can to get any type of information to learn. I needed something to say like, here's this guy's qualified. I was like, well, let me just go to Specs Howard. But from that, I was like, I don't want to do news, but maybe I'll do documentary. And I really got into the style of documentaries. But what you can learn making a documentary, because you have one shot. There's no take two in a documentary.
right.
So I think there's still...
Documentaries are like the jazz of the film industry.
That's an interesting perspective.
You know what I mean?
That's an interesting
Well, because you don't know where the story is going to go.
No, it's free form.
Usually based on something true or...
You have to have...
Right, or a
And you got a
legend
structure
that you
still.
never
Exactly.
know. You have a structure, but you never know where it's going to go. Every
Right.
person could lead you to a new beat, a new trauma.
Exactly.
No, I love that.
Dude.
Yeah. And, so I ended up taking, they called it a specialization. It was a minor.
Right.
In documentary production. And I said earlier, because I didn't get into the narrative one, that's because I found out about the programs way too late.
Sure.
So when I went to consult, I was like, hey, I found out about this narrative thing. It was like, oh, we would love to have you, but we filled up. Before you even applied, like they already had their things before they could even consider me. So it's like they're like, we'd love to, they didn't want to say no, but at the same time, like, so we're really sorry, but we have a documentary thing. Would that interest you? I'm like, well, yeah, I'd love that. Documentaries are cool too. I don't know how to camera good. I don't know how to talk movie good.
Right.
So,
exactly.
So that was
Teach me camera good.
Exactly. So, and I had a lot of fun with that. And
was it beneficial to you? Do you think you've taken stuff away from that?
Extremely beneficial because that allowed me to make movies. Mm-hmm. And I learned there were so many different types of documentaries. They weren't all like talking to camera, talk about dead people from
it's not all Ken Burns,
right? And it's not all cops either,
right?
There's so many different types, and in our intro to documentary class, we watched a different documentary every week, talked about it in the next class that same week. And our final was a document. We had to make a documentary, like a 10-minute-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I want to make, I'm a storyteller. And documentaries are stories, but like I've always wanted to make narrative films.
Right.
So
I'm going to tell your story.
Right. So I'm like, how can I make a documentary that's me? Because like I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I found out there was this type of documentary. It was like, it's called a poetic documentary.
Interesting.
And it's basically vibes. That's what it is. It's like watching vibes. And I made a movie called Documentary because there are a bunch.
Documentaries?
Yes.
Love
there
it.
are a bunch of ducks at Michigan
DuckTales.
State.
Woo.
Yeah. We have a river on camp, the Grand River, and you know, people would feed the ducks. So there's so many ducks, and I would just take my camera and I'd film them, and I put like classical music to it. It's basically Fantasia with ducks.
Well, so here's the thing. You can
do
feel
any,
one.
like mesmerizing type voievers?
What
What
year would this be?
Majestic
What year would this be?
melody.
2014, 2015.
Okay. So by this point, is it Planet Earth had already existed? So you got Planet Earth.
But I didn't know about it.
No, but what I'm saying is this is a viable production.
What we do is we hire Snoop Dogg by a cameo to just narrate.
Well, I was planning on having like a
my
narration.
point being is there's multi-million-dollar successful documentaries that are just images set to
Poetic
music
documentaries,
that are still gripping. And this is what I find fascinating because you then took the approach of the visual storytelling versus the narrative storytelling of a VO.
Right. And, you know, I have to credit my professor because he... Halfway through the thing, we had to show some progress. Mm-hmm. So I showed the first movement, right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't have any voiceover yet. And it was set to, I don't know how hip you guys are with classical music, but Nimrod.
Yes.
Yes. A beautiful piece, right? And he was asking me about it in front of the class. He's like, and I go, yeah, I'm planning to have some like narration. I'll write something. He goes, it should just be the... Yeah, exactly. He goes, why? It should just be the music. I said, huh. So...
You know what? I wasn't going to. You've twisted my arm, but I will do less work. Thank you.
But he was right. He saw what I was doing before I saw what I was doing.
Right.
You know?
That is...
He understood it and said, you don't need to do more.
Yes.
You've done it.
Yes.
Right.
That's a good fucking teacher.
Yeah.
Shout out that... What's his name? Come on. Sorry to put you on the spot.
I can't... This is going to be so bad. I can't remember how to pronounce his name.
That's fine.
Professor Swamp. It starts with the SW.
You guys must have called him something
Swanson?
behind his back then. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't
No,
do that.
I never
Don't do
did.
that.
He was the coolest dude. He was the coolest dude, and I am blanking on his name.
That's okay.
Because I couldn't pronounce his name, so I always avoided saying it.
Hey, what a Dr. S. Awesome job.
Yeah,
well
Dr.
done.
S. Dr. S. But he was the sweetest man. He was incredible and showed me documentaries I would have never seen. Like
I love
Searching for Sugar Man.
Oh, so I've not seen it. I know of it. That's about the guy from
might be
Detroit.
my favorite.
It's about the guy from
Yeah.
Detroit, the guitar player.
Mm-hmm. It might be my favorite.
Rodrigo?
Yeah, Rodriguez.
Yep.
Rodriguez.
Yep. I
might be
do
my
want to see
favorite
that one.
documentary.
Really? Yeah, because so that released around the time I was in Specs. Or just before it, and it was harder to get a hold of because it was new and it was huge. But that's the first time I've heard that title, probably since then. So I've not looked for it since. So
we watched so much, like The Thin Blue Line, Grey Gardens. Those are the ones that have kind of stuck with, because this was 2014. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2014. This was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I only remember so much.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a great time. And then, you know, with the Duck movie, I did Nimrod. I did
How long was it?
about 15 minutes. He said time.
And how long? Just squeeze 5 minutes of credits in there?
No, it was just
the overture,
the music part.
More
It was,
fucking ducks, dude.
yeah. I did a Night on Bald Mountain.
Okay.
Called it the Feeding Frenzy segment because I happened to be there when
How long did you take to produce it?
it took me the whole semester.
Okay, so they gave you a semester to do it.
Yes.
Excellent.
And I was filming ducks the whole time, and I edited it fairly quickly.
Well, see, that's the thing about the documentary. You can't get an assignment on Wednesday and be like, I need a documentary for you. Because there's preparation, there's planning. For example, specifically isolating on yours, how long did you sit around waiting for the ducks to do something interesting? You can't just show up.
I would be
I'm
there
going to
for
be
a
here
couple
20.
hours.
I'm going to be here 20 minutes.
Show up, aim camera at ducks, keep camera aimed at ducks.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how it went. And I structured the film by both musical piece and season. So I had summer, fall, Feeding Frenzy, which is not a season, but I just happened to be there when the ducks went
it's a duck
crazy.
season, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I get to use the night on Bald Mountain. So
How did you coordinate your shooting to the music, or in what order did that come?
I just shot
And then
and
played.
picked
That's what I love
music
about
and
editing.
hope that I would find something in the edit. And that's what happened.
Absolutely.
And then Winter. Winter was the last movement, and I did Saturn from the planets.
Oh, nice.
Which is like, everyone knows Mars and Jupiter because they fucking rule. But like Saturn's a little underappreciated.
I like Saturn.
And
It got its rings.
It always gave me a wintry vibe.
Interesting.
So
Get that.
yeah.
Wow. Well, this has been a great conversation, Austin. I want to thank you so
Is it
much.
over already?
Hey, man, we can't be here all night.
I can't. No, I'm kidding.
I'm just getting started. This is fantastic.
Same here.
So, would you give our listeners an idea of how they can find you?
Sure. Go on any of the social medias. I am at Austin M. Torres. You can find my horror stuff, my podcast, and short films at Would You Die? Would You Die Show on Instagram and Twitter. And I am currently hiatusing from the podcast at this very moment, but I will be back in March. Would You Die is being recalibrated, renovated, and reinvigorated. So it'll be a different show when it comes back, but I'm very excited about this new direction. And I'm, just writing.
And you said there's some
147 episodes.
Yes.
Get caught up.
I've got some catching up to do, so I'm very happy to. I haven't found it on here yet, but I did find it on. I found it on YouTube. So
so while I'm on break, there's still plenty to listen to.
Yeah, exactly. And I was looking to pull up my own thing here. Did you give your handles? How people can find you online? Did I cut you off on that?
No. I gave them, but just one more time.
Austin Torres.
Austin M. Torres.
Austin
Torres is Torres.
Correct. And Would You Die Show.
Would You Die on YouTube. I found it easier on YouTube by typing "Would You Die the Blood
Shoulda,
Witch."
coulda.
Yes.
Would you die, Blood Witch?
And watch the Blood Witch.
Yep,
Watch,
I've got it
Ice
queued
Cream.
up.
Yeah.
It's Ice Scream. ICE Scream. That's
Not
another way to
ice
look it
cream,
up.
Ice cream.
Right.
It took me looking it up because I wasn't sure if you were saying I Scream.
I always I say it quick.
That's all right. And we've got that Michigan liaison.
Thank you.
Little
Thank you.
flood, merge.
Joseph, what about
Don't have the
you?
S.
How can people connect and find you?
At chaotic_artisan on the Grammy Grams. Joseph Sheldon Quick. Anywhere else, baby. I am who I am. I don't hide.
Hell yeah. To find the Mohawk.
Hell yeah. Look for the Mohawk.
I need you to keep saying that.
It's a little
'cause
overgrown and lofted now.
I'm going to make
the
the
Mohawk.
Yeah, but the picture doesn't age.
The picture doesn't age.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on a t-shirt for us to sell.
fucking
Look
do
for the
that.
Mohawk.
Look for
And
the
then you can
Mohawk.
find me at
With
Beeford.
my silhouette.
At Beeford Clark on Instagram. You can find the show at ufostudio.detroit on Instagram and Threads. Both myself and the show are on Threads and Instagram. You can find us on Facebook at Unorthodox Film Podcast. And take a visit to our Podbean page at ufpodcast.podbean.com. Of course, all these links for connecting to us are available in the show notes, so you can always click there. I highly encourage you, if you've enjoyed the show, to subscribe, on any of the platforms that you're listening or following us on, and communicate and get involved in the conversation.
Please comment.
Give
Get
us
in
some
here.
heads
What
up
you wanna
on
hear,
what you want to
wanna
talk
know.
about, who you want us to try and find. You can email us at unorthodox. Nope, that's not correct. ufostudio.detroit@gmail.com. And when you visit our website at ufpodcast.podbean.com, you can also head to the UFO Bazaar where you can get merch with our logos and stuff on it. That helps us continue doing what we do.
Yeah, you can also find that store, UFO Bazaar, on printify.com/UFO Bazaar, whatever. It's crazy.
You were close.
Find the link. Brad
were close.
described it better.
Yep, it's
still on Printify.
It's up in the show notes. But like, subscribe, and rate us. We do need some ratings out there. If you hate us, give us a 1. I hope you don't. But if you love us, share it with your friends. Give us somewhere between 3 and 5 stars, and give us some comments. We love you guys. Thank you
by
for
the way,
listening.
I want to shout out to Carl Vervich real quick for giving us some feedback on what he wants to hear.
We did.
Like to
We did.
hear
I
that.
shot
We'd
him
like to
out
hear
a
that.
couple episodes
I'm just
ago.
gonna do it again.
That's
'cause
all
I
right.
read that comment again. It gave me some vigor.
Excellent. Yeah, we love hearing from you guys. So thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.